nonsense that's going on in the background here. So I've been thinking this morning a couple of different things. I started Russell Brunson's One Funnel Away Challenge this week. It's on Facebook. It's tough to complete on Facebook because there's so many distractions when you actually get there to do the work. So love Russell's content. He's the best as far as marketing. I don't know if he's the best, but he's like, his stuff just makes sense completely. But there's just so many distractions when you get to Facebook. So I've been dealing with that. But we went to accountability partners on the first day. I met a gentleman, Stephen Shapiro, we have quite a lot in common. We became accountability partners and sort of inspired me to start writing a book and to work through my funnel. Had a conversation with my friend Brendan Decker later on. He was like, what should the book be called? He said Ship Shit, which is just put stuff out there, be willing to put stuff, and that's exactly what it is. So I started to work on it, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. It was like a little bit of the personal story. And then I was like, I'm really concerned about the editing. I don't want to spend a ton of time doing the editing. Love the chat here. Please say hello if you join. Let me just see where I'm going to do some of the comments here. Please say hello as you join. Please say hello as you join. If someone wants to come on live with me, you're more than welcome. There's going to be a brainstorm. I'm actually charging my phone right now. About to go out and walk the puppy and do some of the walk-in talks. But anyway, yeah. And so that was but I was like, that's a little bit too complicated from an editing standpoint, not from a creation standpoint, from the editing standpoint. So I'm just going to do like my 46 habits that I work through. My buddy from previous job, Tom Gillett, was like, why don't you do your like morning jam, which is like just the morning routine. So created it. I've got like a version that's sort of ready to go. It's sitting in a Trello board. If anybody's interested in looking at the Trello board, send me a direct message. I'm going to just be creating these stuff and a little bit audio broadcast. But I was thinking about the steps to actually go through, and it got me back to William I don't know if it's Duggan or Duggan. I'm going to say it's Duggan. I've been saying Duggan because I might have heard that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I apologize, William, or anybody that's seeing this, please correct me. I kept on saying Duggan, but it's spelled the same as Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So we'll go with, okay, but the book, The 7 Cents, and there's a strategy that he talks about in there, which the name is the strategy is actually escaping me right now, but here's possible strategies, not possible strategies is not the way that they work, but like here's possible things that we could do. There's possible outcomes out here, right? So possible outcomes is we increase our income, we get married, whatever it is, and then here's the possible strategies. Our work can be to connect those two. I think the mistake I make quite a bit, and I think a lot of people make, is like you have to connect them directly. But possible outcomes are things that we want to get. Possible strategies are close to the things that we want to work on. And then we can do some work. What are possible ways that we can get there? I think what are possible ways that we can get there? And it opens up a whole different realm of serendipity. And so all the good stuff that I'm saying here, please attribute it to the book. All the things that I'm butchering here that don't necessarily make any sense, attribute it to me, right? But it's just like, how do you start with the possible, the possible possibilities and then possible outcomes, and then do the work to be able to mix the two. But don't be so pedantic. Is that the right word? So prescriptive about what the route is to be able to get there. That opened up a whole bunch of different possibilities here for me today. So I was just like, with the book, like here's a whole bunch of different things to be able to be able to work to. And there's thousands of ways to be able to skin the cat and get to the results that you want to actually get to. So I've been thinking about this morning. I set up a Trello board. This is where I get into the tool talk. I set up a Trello board. I've been working out of Airtable, and I like Airtable because it's a quick way to be able to create a relational database, but Trello is just so much more simple, and it has a lot of the integrations that the Airtable board, and it's less expensive. It's a little bit more lightweight for the way that I operate. So hopefully this will be the only time today where I will be sitting in front of a computer. I'm not doing otter for this one. That was lame. What are you doing, Justin? Come on. Wake up. All right, let's get some, at least for this piece, let's get some otter running in the background. So we've got, at least we've got a transcript of what we're actually talking about here to for some of the pieces of the work. I don't have it all captured. Have to probably go back to the video. Let's start recording here just to get it. And here's the important thing. I record the stuff. Again, I'm sitting here. I call this thing Let me just do a 7 cents live. I call this thing I'll do present mode here. I like to do this. Present mode. Let me just share. Let me share the screen. Yeah, I'm not even going to share it today. Yeah, I'll share it. Why not? I call this thing the 7 cents, but we're going to go and we're going to riff in a whole bunch of different directions here. So why not? I'll do it side by side. Oh, I like that. I don't even know what that orange thing is here. But we're going to riff on a whole bunch of different things. And so I can sit here with my arms crossed. Like if I get an epiphany or if I get an idea or if I get, something that I want to sort of work through, I can, I don't have to wait, right? I don't have to wait for something else to be able to come through, right? And so we can just continue to riff and go, and Otter having that running in the background. What I love about Otter on the back end of this, you're going to get a word cloud. I can get the word cloud off the phone. But anyway, my point is, we'll go in a couple of different directions. We'll move around. We'll go different ways. We'll go in different ways, and we'll get off on tangents here. But we want to start tracking some of those tangents, and now let's think there's a connection point, right? This is what we're talking. This is as close to the brain. The stuff that we're saying is as close to the brain as possible to be able to get out there, right? So we go unconscious. It's our, tapping into the subconscious, and then there's possible results. So how do we? This is where I'm going to check in with my friend Tyler and Speak AI and the Speak AI or Vatzel, speaking Timothy. Like, look, here's the subconscious. How do we map this to goals, right? So we can continue just talking from the subconscious to our actual goals, right? How do we map? Because this is even actually simpler than the Trello boards and and then putting the cards together, right? That starts putting it into a little bit of boxes. But how do we take these transcripts and map these transcripts as possibilities for goals? So now here's where we really get into the 7 cents, using transcripts to get to goals. So right now we can sort of just speak freely and then map those. We have the tools today to be able to map this to the goals. And I'm thinking Speak is a place to be able to do it, where we can start seeing what we're talking about. And then also, like, here's specifically what we're actually, talking about, directionally. One of my goals is to weigh in at 190 pounds, right? I do some activity. I weigh myself every single day. I have an intention of getting to 1,000 calories burned every day. I log that in my Strides app every single day, and I monitor my diet. And I monitor my diet not in part of like recording everything, although I do have the ability to record everything in Gyroscope. But I have the ability to be able to access all of those, all that data. But like, how often am I talking about it, right? How often am I talking about the stuff where the goals are? That's what Speak AI starts to open up, open up for people. So I'm just wondering, if we just talk about stuff enough to ourselves, can the results? I think that's a powerful way to start getting to the results. And I like some of the principles of 7 cents. It doesn't have to be directly correlated. Like, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my plan. I'm going to do step A, step B, step C. And I'll talk about something else. I did a coaching session, which was awesome, with Pamela Hobart this week. And she would always talk about the content or where it feels like work. And when it feels like work, she didn't always talk about that, but she mentioned a couple of times, where does it feel like work? And when it doesn't feel like work, that's where we're naturally more free. This doesn't feel like work. This feels like a riff. There's 2 people that are listening to this thing live right now. It's Sunday morning at 7:44. There's 2 people that are listening live. And then, a bunch of other people will listen to it at some point in time. And then my future self might listen to this. I might listen to this again, or be able to use it again, or use the transcriptions to start to run some analytics on the side. But we talk about possible strategy. That's an interesting one. Now I'm going back to the 7 cents. We talk about possible strategies as opposed to the actual strategies that we're going to work through. And the most effortless way for me is to just, speak it. Now, this can be a little bit wild, but a bunch of words are going to get spoken here. And then how do we actually turn them into real things out in the world? So this isn't the direction I was planning to go with this. I just was planning to talk for a little bit while my phone charges, so I can go out and walk the puppy and, do some of the live walk and talk, but figured why not go at it this morning? We talk a little bit about the book. I think I'm calling it right now 18 of 46, which is the habits that I've got logged in my Strides app. 18 of 46, the habits that are logged in the Strides app every single day. And, should I get through those 46 items a day? Consider it a pretty successful day. The whole idea is for us to go through and do as many of the work things. Who talks about this? This is from this is Jordan from the Yak team telling me that, yeah. So vision of Yak, or one of the missions and visions is so that work is done asynchronously. Synchronous stuff is for relationship building, right? That, when you actually meet with somebody, it's for relationship building, not to do work. Work should be done asynchronously. Like, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's our overall game plan. Here's a framework. I'm going to go off and do my piece. You're going to go do off your piece. I think most work gets done individually, right? I'm trying to think like what pieces of work need two people at a time. So even if there's ways to work on a deck together asynchronously. Coding, I believe, is more of an individual act. I guess you could co-code, but you're not writing the same code at the same time. So ultimately, if we're doing work that's hands to keyboards, what's going on with our otter in the background here? It just seemed to stop. It's back here. Yeah. So but if we're doing it together, right? So there should be feeding off the energy of other people, but doing some of the stuff asynchronous. So it's even you can be working together at the same time, doing separate pieces. But anything that requires people to be in the same place at the same time doesn't necessarily make sense. So that was just like, I'm thinking about it right here, right? This doesn't, me doing my quote unquote work here, which doesn't occur as work, doesn't require anybody else to be here, but other people can benefit from the other people can benefit from the work in the future and could use this to tie into some of the stuff that they're working on or some of the other pieces. So I'm going to leave it there. My friend James just pinged me to see if we're going to the mountain today. It didn't show up on the quotes here. Yeah, that was it. I'm going to end this one here. It was a little bit of a random brainstorm, but I'm just making more sense. Like nothing. We do relationship building live, right? Distribution of information should all be asynchronous. It should be in multiple formats. It shouldn't be in one format. It should be in multiple places. So in the ways that's best for people to consume. I think audio is the happy medium. It's interesting. It's my favorite way because like my favorite way to work is walking and talking, right? So audio is the best way to be able to create things in that walking and talking space, and it's the best way to be able to consume things in walking and talking. You can listen to audios on 3x, you can slow it down a little bit. Audios can have transcripts that are running in the background. It's not the easiest to consume. Text is the easiest to consume on the back end. As I'm thinking through this, text is the easiest to consume on the back end, but it is that's what transcripts, right? Like, so the happy medium is an otter message or a yak, where it can be created via voice, which is the easiest way to create for almost anybody, right? If you can speak, it's the easiest way to create, right? I've said a couple thousand words here, not really that planned out. I had a little bit of inspiration around the book, around the 7 Cents book. And, one of the principles of the 7 Cents book, it wasn't even about the book completely. Now we're off to the races doing some other things. But when we have the freedom about here, possible strategies and possible outcomes, and then start mixing those two together, you start getting something interesting on the back end. So thanks a lot for listening. I do apologize if anybody's listening to this who thought this was specifically focused on the 7 Cents. There were there's 7 Cents principles. It was definitely inspired by the 7 Cents stuff, but I was listening specifically for that, then I do apologize. I will be, let me know if you listen to this and you got here and you're disappointed for X number of reasons. You came here for a particular reason, especially if I do these tags like inspired by somebody else. It's meant to honor their work, but I'm conscious of like if you're doing something way different than their work, and then I don't know if it honors them. So if anybody doesn't feel honored in this conversation, please let me know and I will make it up to you. Have an amazing day. Thanks so much. Let's finish this one.